Hello and welcome in. My name is DrumRollTony. I'm a streamer and Twitch musician and music teacher living in Seattle. We're doing Code Geass reactions on Patreon, 2 per week. Loving the story. When I finished Death Note, my community was like, hey, you should probably do Code Geass next as your next like OG anime that everyone should experience. So that's where we're at. I've heard the anime version of the opening many times. I love this piece of music. Like seriously, I love it so much. I've never heard the full version. I'm very excited. Let's go. Colors by Flow. Here we go. Man, what a good introduction to a song. Isn't that nice when things are that great? I love it. So if you're new to the channel, we do surface level musical analysis here, which is basically like we just do a lot of stops and starts, go back, talk about why things sound great, what's going on, what's happening with the instrumentation. Like, I love the fact, as a percussionist, I'm so happy that there's constant percussion first. We get a big fat roll from the timpani, and it brings us in. And it brings us into a pretty busy element. To be honest, like left side guitar versus right side guitar, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of like counterpoint, contrapuntal stuff, like basically like melodic / harmonic things happening at the same time. Normally, I kind of like advocate for not doing that because there's so much, you get lost in the sauce, man. There's so much to listen to. But the band's called Flow, right? So it's kind of like no surprise that the flow works really well here. All that with the brass line on top of that. So if you try to like internalize all 3 of those layers before you even listen down the rhythm section, there's a lot to put your ears on. Like seriously, it's really good. And then the melody comes in on the voice and it's super happy. The progression is like great and it keeps pushing. So speaking of happy, I imagine for a lot of you that like if this is like something you watched when you're young growing up, you've already watched the series in its entirety, it's probably a shot in the arm of nostalgia because that's how cool music is, man. It makes you feel a certain way. Like right now, this is going to be like, I'm old. Like I'm rewatching Quantum Leap, like the original. When I hear the theme song, like it's totally cheesy, man. It's like 80s, but it doesn't matter. Like I'm like, oh my God, it brings back so many emotions because I like watched that show every week in my grandparents' house. It was like a big deal. And I'm like, just like return to it. So like openings, like theme songs to shows, they totally matter, man. They set you in a direction. And I'm new to Code Geass. This is all new to me. But like I've heard it enough times to know that like down the road, I'm going to look back and be like, oh yeah, I really like that because it's a great piece of music. So now let's listen to this again and just listen how great this melody is from the voices. Like if you think contour and flow and like melodic design, it's so great. And we're like, I mean, this is an older song, I get it, but we're living in a time of like void of melody. Not everywhere, just a lot of places. Like it is not hip right now to rap melodies. Like, and as young people come up to music, we're losing the context with that because it just, you know, what you grab on to be like important and value to you, a lot of that is established when you're young. And when you have a lack of that, it's going to slowly dissipate. So for those of you that are melody freaks, cool. Anyway, okay. So the other part of this that is great is obviously the groove that we're getting, the open hi-hat, that it's super fun and it just pushes us forward. So I think the introduction is really good. I've always wanted to kind of stop and listen to the left versus right side guitar and just feel how that goes. So we'll got back a couple seconds and we'll let it go on to the verse. My God, is that, it is such good writing. I am like going to nerd out for this one for a very long time. All the songwriting things you want, everything is like here for everybody. If you like tonal music, if you like a good chord progression, if you enjoy like nice, just well put harmonies, and you enjoy a fun rhythm section, it's all there. Like I think the first thing to talk about right here when we get into this verse is this. Listen down. listen how much is opened up with, we basically have some comping, some chords being printed here on the left side guitar, and then you get this cool little arpeggiated synthesizer groove going on. It's like just kind of like almost space sounding. And the drummer, we're kicking 4 on the floor and some hi-hat work, and it's completely a different like decibel experience. I mean, everything is pretty much the same dynamic level. There was just so much happening in the beginning that it was kind of over, like all your audio senses were kind of taken over. But when you get to this, everything opens up and you can really focus in on the voice while yet having just like some open clarity down below in the rhythm section. Nice bass playing too, very simple. Open legato. And now we change a little bit. How great is the phrasing? Da 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 dee da 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 da. You just get spoon fed that. It's so smooth and it keeps going. It goes over the bar line and it just like, it's almost like hypnotic. It's very, in my opinion, very, very good writing. And during that, the guitar part kind of comes back on the right side. It's not as like chaotic as the beginning kind of clash, yet it's like an organized rhythmic dissonance sort of in the beginning. This is a lot more, just a lot more tonal with how the chords are being presented to us. But I really don't even listen down to that part because I'm so kind of mesmerized by the da 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 going against the. That's not quite the drum groove that's happening, but it's very pronounced though. Check it out. That's great, dude. It's totally great. Let's keep going. Bum, 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 ba, da, da. So we enter this major chord right there, and it's going to catapult us into the next section. But I love the little, I don't know what, it feels like castanets, maybe it's some clapping, just the little percussive outlet that happens that changes the feel so much right here. Coming up, 2, 3, and. That whole line is great because all the guitars, we stop moving in such a way that's so kind of layered against each other, and everyone plays pretty much the same rhythmic figure, and we haven't had that at all in the song. And that's actually a pretty normal thing to do in music, but since it hasn't existed in the first minute and 1 minute and 1 second, it feels completely different. And you're like, oh, whoa. So it kind of pushes you in a different direction. One more time, and we'll let it go on. Variation in the progression. Now, before we go to the next section here, we got to give a shout out to the brass arrangement. There's some really good stuff with the horn lines that are being written above that. And obviously, we're not seeing any of that in the video because it's probably not normal members of the band. You either track that stuff in or you just hire studio musicians to play those parts. They sound absolutely great. Now, keep in mind, this video is older. YouTube has a lot of compression, so this is not a overwhelmingly great audio experience. But those parts are there. This kind of like, they're kind of staticky in the top layers of the music, if that makes sense. All right, let's continue. I am super excited because I know something, like there has to be something different coming that I've never heard yet because I only know the short version. So I know it's around the corner somewhere. Similar stuff here. Synthesizer part is great. Here we go. my God. Wow, I'm such a nerd, man. I love this stuff so much. I've been waiting so long to know what happened there. That was a great guitar solo. I love the two variants. We had the beginning, the wah pedal got a little more thick and the distortion got a little more thick. I have to listen to it again. One time, not even close to being enough. Let's go back. I love ba-dee-da-da with a melody with a voice, and that came in with a guitar solo. That was super fun because that part you can tell that's an easy chop point to connect it to what would normally be coming, what we're used to hearing on the anime. So that was pretty dope. So we really have four guitar parts to listen to if you incorporate the bass. So the bass is down. They're just playing root movement, playing on the progression. You still have left side guitar playing some accompaniment, and you still have right side guitar playing another accompaniment below the soloist. So you are listening to 3 electric guitars and 1 bass guitar right there. There's a lot still going on, but it's mixed really well, even in this compressed audio version on YouTube. But you can still obviously hear that the solo is a dominant factor. The ascending sequence and the progression there, love it so much. Good writing. Like that section vocally had a completely different feel to it. That was cool. Like now I'm questioning myself, is that in the short version or not? I don't know, to be honest with you, because we hear that musical phrase in the song already, but like intonation wise, just like the way it was tuned against everything, it just felt a little bit, hold on. Let's go back and grab that again. I like the visual difference too. Yeah, that feels different. Let me know what you think about that. Okay. That was one of my favorites of hearing the full version, because normally, and granted, I'm still new to this. We're only like a year and a half in, but the ones that I have experienced so far, when I understand the short and then I finally hear the long, it's usually some chunk. This one had like a chunk, but it also had little things, and the ending was super different. Usually I'm kind of used to the same ending. So that was a lot of fun. So let me know what you think about that. Did they hit you was there a lot of nostalgia there? Is it, or does it even matter? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is DrumRollTony. Catch me when I'm live on Twitch. Come watch some anime with me on Patreon. Link for all the socials down in the video description below. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Please and thank you. Click the like button, subscribe to the channels, and catch you next video. YouTube thinks you want to watch one of these 2 videos next. Have a great day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.